Greetings, Nick Bowcott with Sweetwater here, and welcome to 5 ferocious Zakk Wylde licks. And by the way, did you see the magic of this ring? Zakk sent me this for Christmas about 15 years ago. I was sucking wind on those speedy sextuplets. I'd done like 8 takes, the camera crew were really fed up with me, and I decided to put the ring on, and hey presto, magic happened and I got it first take, to the relief of everyone, especially the guys behind the camera. Do you believe me? Good. Want to buy a bridge? Now, as unbelievable as it may sound, Zakk Wylde's Child of Brutality Black Label Society, better known to some merely as BLS, celebrates a cool anniversary of longevity right now. 20 years. Can you believe that? 2019 is 20 years of BLS. Wow. It really only seems like yesterday when I saw Black Label's first ever tour. Zakk invited me to soundcheck at a small bar on Long Island in a town called Port Jefferson. I watched the soundcheck, and then we caught up on family and stuff while he set up his own merch table. 20 years later, it's a little bit different. He's not playing bars, and he has several people doing merch, and he sells a bunch of it, and rightfully so. BLS merch rules. Dun, dun, dun. To celebrate this anniversary, we're going to look at 5 licks forged from the unique steel that is Zakk's style. You've just heard the first 3 in the intro. Let's check out the next 2, which are both in E minor, as were the 3 in the intro. Here they are. And by the way, these licks aren't what I think Zakk might play. They're plundered directly from stuff he showed me when we worked together on stuff for Guitar World. In July 2004, I had the honor of doing his boot camp, which was a cover story, 6 pages of great riffs and great tips and great tricks. And then I also had the honor of doing his column, Brutality. And during that time, he showed me a bunch of stuff, and I shamelessly stole them from all of that. Add to that the fact we've been friends for over 30 years. I met him in 1988, just after he joined Ozzy, and the rest, as you can imagine, is liver-damaging history. This all said, to be honest with you, as opposed to shamelessly lying, I can't come even close to his precision, his power, his speed, his muscular vibrato, his pick squeals, all that good stuff. But I do at least know I'm playing the right notes, and I take solace in that. Anyway, backstory over, let's dissect these 5 licks. Let's start with lick 1, surprise, surprise. Here it is, played slowly. This lick starts with 2 very familiar Zakkisms, the first of which is his very clever use of natural harmonics to create a cool effect. What he does is this: he does a trill with his fretboard hand, and then he rests part of his picking hand against the strings and brings his hand up the string, pulling out a bunch of harmonics. This is what it sounds like. Check it out. Then straight after that, he ascends the neck using aggressive unison bends on the G and B strings, like this. Then he finishes with a short, sharp, but very sweet E minor blues scale lick that sounds exactly like this, allegedly. Lick 2 remains in E minor, and is based on a cool syncopated arpeggiated climb Zakk does at the start of his Miracle Man solo. What have I done? I've just moved it from F sharp to E minor, plundered it shamelessly, and written some chords that match it underneath. This is how it starts. But first, we have to do something, and Zakk does this a lot. We started on the bridge pickup, we're now going to switch to the neck. That gives a great tonal variation, gives a nice fluid, creamy sound, and Zakk is wonderful at using that for different moods and different tones. Here's the first arpeggio slowly. It's a 3-note repeated pattern played as 16th notes, hence the syncopation. The chorded outlines, in my opinion, is A sus2. The reason being the notes in it are A, B, and E. A is the root, E is the 5th, and B is the sus2. That said, let's listen to it slowly. We then move up the neck to the next 3-note arpeggio, and this one outlines B minor. The reason being very simply this: the 3 notes are B, D, and F sharp. That's the root, minor, 3rd, and 5th of B minor. And this is what this one sounds like. And then the third one in this particular climb goes up one more fret to, wait for it, C. And it's a C major because it's C, E, and G. So together we've got this so far. Next we come to the part that the magic ring helped me play, the sextuplet thing, and that just stays in E natural minor. It starts with a flurry at the 15th position, then outlines an E minor 7 chord for the second part. And this is what it sounds like very slowly. Zakk, by the way, would play this picking every single note. I'm not good enough to do that even with the ring, so I cheat a bit, and my second note in each sextuplet is a pull-off. So it's pick, pull-off, then I pick the rest, but hey, 5 out of 6 ain't bad, right? Here it is, slowly. Incidentally, if this fast sextuplet bit bothers you and you don't have a magic ring of your own, you can slow it down a bit by playing it at 16th notes and changing the timing slightly. Here's my suggestion for that. And here it is again, a little bit slower. And that concludes lick 2. We're nearly halfway there, folks. Now let's do lick 3, which is pretty short, but it's cool. Here goes. This is what it sounds like, slowly. And we're staying on the neck pickup. It starts with a 4-note pattern that a lot of players will repeat very quickly, and it's in the 12th position E pentatonic minor scale pattern. Here's what it sounds like. What Zakk does to give that some flavor, though, is he adds the note at the 17th fret on the high E string to that. So he alternates between that regular pattern and one with the higher note. So he goes... Or he might do it the other way around, start with the high note. He only does this once though, and then he goes to another run you've probably heard him do a number of times. This is a descent of the E minor pentatonic scale. Now if you descend the scale in the 12th position regularly, it sounds like this. How Zakk does it though is slightly different, and it makes it syncopated. We're playing in 16th notes here, picking every single one because that's his penchant. And what he does is he descends 3 strings, then he stops, goes up a string, descends the next 3s, stops, goes up another string, then descends another 3. But he's not really stopping, he just stops the descent, goes up 1 and carries on. So it's all very fluid. This is what it sounds like very slowly. That was it going across the whole scale, and of course I had to finish with a pinch harmonic because that's another one of his familiar penchants. But let's play exactly what he does in this particular lick. And then he stops. So he starts the pattern and then he stops. And the reason he stops at that point is because he finishes lick 3 with a clever ascent that kind of has a chromatic vibe by using passing notes. That way he goes 12, 13, 14 on the A and D strings. And this is what it sounds like. This is the end of lick 3. And there you have it, my friends. That's how lick 3 ends, with some nice chromatic work in a familiar pattern. He then finishes with a double stop on the G and B strings, which has a nice minor feel, before ending with some very wide vibrato on the root note, which is the 14th fret of the D string, which is, of course, E. Now you'll notice he went from that very furious sextuplet thing into something a lot slower, and that's something Zakk is really, really good at, along with many other things. It's called light and shade, my friends, fast and furious to slow and cool. And he does it all the time, and it really creates a mood. So just because you can play fast doesn't mean you have to do it all the time. So slow down, put them brakes on, son. For our last 2 licks, we remain in E minor, and what we can do is break them both into bite-sized 2-bar chunks. So let's start with lick 4. This uses the E minor blues scale and has some really cool but kind of unusual patterns which will mess with your muscle memory a bit, and it also creates a very moody vibe. This is the first half of it played slowly. We're going back to the bridge pickup, by the way, for this. Doink! Once again, finishing with that double stop on the G and B strings, and then another squeal, because you got to do it. Here it is, one more time, a little bit slower. Now the second half kind of starts by fooling you and messing with your muscle memory. It starts exactly the same as the first half does, but then it takes a clever U-turn. Here is that one played slowly. Like I said, it fools you. The first 8 notes are exactly the same as the first half of the lick, and then it takes a U-turn and takes you somewhere else, before finishing with a nice descent, once again using that chromatic version of the pattern we're so familiar with by adding those 2 passing notes. So it does this. And once again, surprise, surprise, a squeal. Now, one more lick to go, lick 5, and for that, once again, the magic of the neck pickup. Lick 5 is another E minor blues alternate picking terror. And this one really is deceptively difficult because of the weird intervals it uses. It will mess with your muscle memory. It's a muscle memory bucker, and it could tie your fingers into pretzel shape. So the way I've learned it is to do it 4 notes at a time. Once again, all 16th notes. This is the first half, the first 2 bars played very slowly. 4 notes at a time. Yup, like I said, deceptively difficult. Definitely a muscle memory bucker. You'll be pleased to hear, however, that the next 2 bars have almost all the same exact notes apart from the last 4. That said, let's listen to the whole of the end of lick 5 slowly. But first, some Valhalla Java, because I need an energy boost. Let's go. There you have it, my friends. There is tab along with this. Just go to the bottom of the video and you can download the stuff or go look at it online. There's some more explanation as to what's going on musically. But the bottom line, it's just great Zakk Wylde stuff. Like I said, I'm not even close to that man. I'm not even worthy to tech for him, but I do know the notes and they are correct. So enjoy. I hope you can add these to your arsenal, or at least little parts of them. And Zakk, if you happen to watch this, my SDMF brother, happy anniversary. See ya!